Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive online training program on device and network security. You are watching us live on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. This training program is brought to you by Central Institute of Educational Technology in collaboration with C-DAC ISEA Hyderabad. It's a 5-day, 5-hour online training program where each day 1 hour between 4 and 5 p.m. is dedicated to the training sessions. Today we are in day 5. And this is the last day of this week's journey, and the topic that we are taking up is IoT device security. If you have questions regarding this topic, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle NCERT Official, you can send us your questions, suggestions, and of course your feedback. And for today's conversation, we are joined by Ms. Sumera Farooq. Ma'am is project engineer from C-DAC Mohali, Punjab. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
I'm thankful to you, Harpreet, ma'am, for the kind introduction of yours. So
Yes.
today I'm here for IoT device security session,
Yes.
and I will be starting with with the basic things that are like IoT, what IoT devices are, what IoT means,
Okay.
what how are the advantages, how we take the advantage from IoT devices, what are some disadvantages regarding the devices, and some of the things that where we use IoT devices, what are the applications of IoT devices.
Okay.
And meanwhile, since it is connected to the internet, we are going to discuss how we can secure our IoT devices as well. So this is going to be the training session for the 1 hour. I will be happy if I'll be having any question regarding whatever would be there.
Sure, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much for sharing the agenda of the session with us. And now I request you to kindly go ahead with your presentation, and whatever questions we will be receiving from the audiences, we'll take them up in the end. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
ma'am. Thank you. So the overview for the whole training session will be regarding introduction of the IoT security, as I have already discussed, and some key IoT security challenge, real life examples, what has happened so far in IoT devices where threats have we have overcome some threats and some threats which may be some incoming future, some common IoT attacks, and security measures for IoT devices. So, we will be covering these topics, and before covering these topics, I will go through the basic IoT meaning and what does IoT mean. Since IoT, it comprises two words that are internet and the things. So anything, any place, and any time connected into the internet. That is, internet is basically a mesh kind of topology where anything can be connected. So these devices that we are using, for example, the things that we are using the word thing here, the thing is the smartwatch, the smart refrigerator, the smart bulbs, the smart washing machine, any appliances that we are day by day using in our for our sophistication, those things we can call the internet of the thing devices. So internet of the thing, everyday object connected to the internet sending and receiving data without human intervention is internet of the thing devices. And for example, I told you the smartwatch, smart cars, without intervention of the human beings, we are dealing with these kind of devices day by day. So the things and the internet plus data sharing between the device to device or device to human. This is equally known as the smarter life procedure. And Internet of the Things, we can say it is ubiquitous. That is a kind of thing which we say is present everywhere. Whatever we have, whatever we are dealing with, if we are at our offices, we can control some appliances at our home. So this is all about the IoT, that what IoT mean. Moving further, how does wait, wait.
Right. So, till then, our viewers, we request you all to kindly not mark your attendance in the chat box, because I have already started receiving those messages with your name and your school's name. This is not required. We have started the conversation and we are going to take it forward very smoothly for all of you, because it's a training program. There is going to be an assessment as well. So, please, ask relevant questions. And now, let's continue. Over to you,
Is
ma'am.
it fine? Is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am, it's perfectly fine. Please go ahead.
So the evolution and revolution, what does this evolution mean? We are starting with the early days when there was alone devices. There was no internet connection like our TV and our fridge or our any other kind of appliances were there. There was no connection in the early period. Then comes an internet. Then when internet came into the era that was known as the internet era. That internet era became common, like using computers and phones. Then we started VoIP kind of things, that was voice over internet protocol, that connected one computer system, internet with the phone calls. Most appliances were still dumb. They were not connected to the internet. Then comes one more era. That era was coined down by Kelvin Ashton in 1999. that that Kelvin Ashton, he was a person who was basically working in a Procter and Gamble company. That Procter and Gamble company was cosmetics company. He was supposed to introduce some things which he wanted to keep in his warehouse, and wanted to know how many products are there and how many products he has to send out, or how many products have been outdated. So what he did, he think about a kind of thing which was known as RFID, radio frequency ID. Those tags were sticked with the products, and those tags carry some some automatically tracking procedures. And using that thing, this is how Internet of the Things come into the era. Then comes smartphone, the era of smartphones. See, if we see from the 1990, then post 1993 and early 2000, and then 2010 onwards, you will see a drastic change and exponential rise in the internet and internet of the things. These devices we are using now enormously. So smartphones, and then comes sensor boom. We are using our smartphones where we are locating some places using GPS system, using camera, or somewhere we are using some accelerometers, okay, always, and some Wi-Fi system and Bluetooth as well. So these things we are using, and we are keeping things in our hand. So the whole things that we wanted to control, we want to save our time, we are doing it in a very small and lesser time period. So now IoT is everywhere. Also, artificial intelligence plus quantum computing will take it to the ultra early stage. Then the devices, IoT devices, they have four key components. The four key components that are required for the IoT devices are sensors, then the network for which we use for the connectivity purpose, and the data processing, cloud computing usage, and user interface, the dashboard kind of thing where we can use and utilize that icons or the shapes where are we going to head towards. So the sensors are there supposed to collect the data. For example, if we take the example of smartwatch rates, it counts the heart rate. What is the thing that has been placed on the smartwatch? That smartwatch thing is heart rate sensor. That sensor senses our pulses and gives the data to the phone. We can get that on our phone and check the heart rate using those smartwatches. That is how the sensor works. It similarly works with the cars, driverless cars. We have GPS systems, we have sensors, we come to understand and we come to know the more traffic areas, lesser traffic areas, and we opt the route accordingly. Then comes connectivity. Connectivity is internet for sending that data to another devices using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or any 4G or 5G Zigbee. So the best example for this is smartwatch. Smartwatch is connected to phone through Bluetooth, but when we are taking the calls, we take the calls through internet. So it's the amalgamation of two things that completes one IoT device. Then comes data processing. Since the people, we can understand the human anatomy, that we process the things, we get the data in our mind and then we process. Similarly, IoT devices have data processing, cloud computing part where they process the data and send the relevant data to the output. And then user interface, which is the final step, usable for the humans. That may be mobile application or the dashboard showing the factory machine health, automated alerts or the notifications. Then what are the other advantages of the IoT? These advantages are, for example, automation and control. We are able to automatically switch on or switch off any kind of appliances. That if we want to deal with that appliance from farther paths, we can go through that. Efficiency and productivity. It has increased, of course, the efficiency and the productivity of human utilities. How it has been using like that, if we are at our offices, we are able to turn on, turn off, or get the cars out. We can get using the refrigerator sensors, knowing about how much quantity of milk we are carrying in our refrigerator. Do we need to bring the milk to our home or not? Accordingly, the productivity will be increased, our time will be saved, and efficiency will be, of course, increased. Then comes data collection and its insights. Since it provides the monitoring things, we need the data to be collected in our cloud computing. Then cost saving. It would have been taken a lot of cost to reach to the places and get the things done, coming back to the places where we want to go. So that cost has been deducted now because we are able to operate from farther places to the devices that we want to operate at the same time. So improved safety and security. It has advantage that safety and security has been improved using, say, there's a one kind of thing that is factor authentication. We are nowadays using, I'll be discussing that later, and using those things we have improved safety and security as well of the IoT devices. Of course, the better quality of life by using all these advantages. With the pros of any kind of technology, with the pros of any kind of device, there are also disadvantages as well. And we are supposed to mitigate those disadvantages with our technology, with the research, and those disadvantages for the IoT devices are right here. Some security risks. Like the traditional computer system, we do have some risks, we do have some threats that are coming day by day basis, and we are supposed to mitigate those security risks. Billions of billions devices are connected to the internet. If we see some unpacked, unpackaged, unparalleled devices like number of watts, number of refrigerators, number of fans, number of bulbs, number of things, number of appliances are connected to the internet using internet based, network based. Then comes the privacy concern. Privacy, it can impersonate if used by a hacker, unethical hacker. IoT devices collect sensitive personal data. Like if we are sitting in our home and we are using the CCTV camera for surveillance, that camera will collect that data, our personal data. If the hacker hacks that kind of CCTV camera, and that will be used for the malicious reasons as well. So there are privacy concerns as well. Complexity and compatibility. If I make you understand a kind of thing, if we have internet that's working on some kind of devices which have the version A, and we have our device which has version B, the compatibility issues come across with that and creates the complexity. Of course, the initial cost is high for the smart devices to get installed, and data also is overloaded because all this data, all these devices are sharing huge data. Then dependency on internet. Internet is required for all the IoT devices to get operating. These are certain few disadvantages. We have some more modern applications regarding IoT devices where we are using these IoT devices. For example, smart grids and this energy saving. If we are somewhere, if we have installed somewhere the solar panels, and during daytime we want to switch off our lights, we want to switch off the things that we have already kept on, we will use that appliances, we will use that IoT device and control the smart grids, and by controlling the smart grids we can save the energy. Smart cities. Smart cities, we can help with the help of these IoT devices, how smart cities can be built up and developed in a very good manner. Using these IoT devices, we can come across the things about the traffic flow and towards how the things are to be used, like the drainaging system or something like that. Smart homes, home automations, healthcare. For healthcare, if we consider a hospital that is very smart, they can have some sensors deployed at the beds of the patients, and these devices can monitor the heart rate of a patient. The data will directly go to the doctor's phone, and doctor will come to know about the data and will continue with the prescription and will continue with the prior uh, prior prescription, prior kind of visit to the patient who is more serious. So healthcare, it's very useful there as well. For example, earthquake detection. If we detect earthquake early before some minutes, we will be able to rescue the people from the places. Radiation detection, it's hazardous gas detection, like Bhopal gas strategy, which has been happened since decades ago. If then it would have been, we have used IoT device, we could have rescued the people who were stuck in the Bhopal gas plant. Some smartphone detections as well. If our phones are left behind somewhere, we can get that where its location is, and we can find our smartphones from using these IoT devices. Water flow monitor, of course, if we are using these devices, we can control the water flow using the monitoring system. Similarly, for the security, traffic monitoring, wearables, wherever we can find the devices, we can use IoT and have control on those things. So there are some modern applications which I have already told you. Last but not least, agriculture IoT devices. If we are using some drones for fertilization, for irrigation, like if we want to go through the sprinkle irrigation, we can control the water, we can control irrigation at the same period, not going for the flood irrigation. Industries as well is the good application where we can apply this IoT device. Then knowing about wholly about the what IoT devices mean and how IoT can be used, what are the advantages, we should understand in a very well manner that there needs some security as well. So there is IoT security. We are already aware about the computer system, about the internet where security is necessary. We have three keywords for the security, that is CIA: confidentiality, integrity protected, and the availability. All three ecosystems must be protected from hackers, protecting smart devices and data they share from hackers, misuse for the misuse, and as well as the damage. If IoT devices are hacked by the hackers, they can steal personal data, they can control our devices, they can stop the services. I told you about the example of hospital where doctor is getting the data, how and where doctor has to be present at the prior visits. So if the data is being turned in a different way, in a malicious way, the services would be dealt. Now, smart. If I take the example of smart camera installed at our homes, if it is not secure, hackers can watch us anytime and breach our privacy. So the strong passwords are meant to be used for our IoT devices at our homes. Smart car attack. If there is a car that is driverless, and if it has been if hacker attack the car at that very moment, can control brakes and steerings, which can drastically turn into the fatal accidents. Then comes healthcare devices, which I have told you already about, monitoring system of heart rates, and smart factories or industries. So security is very must. Why it is critical now? Why the security which we are discussing, why it is now critical? It is critical because if we are thinking about a hospital carrying the IoT devices at each bed, or carrying the IoT devices over the ward numbers for knowing, monitoring the heart rates and the knowing about maybe the brain damage data, the doctors collect that data, and if in case the things will happen in a different way, in an inverse way, their hacker can send the signal, fake signals, create the panic, or send the fake signals, can make doctors ease that there is no fatal injury and that at this very moment. This can create a very big problem nowadays. So we are critically analyzing the IoT security now. More devices are connected and more devices are getting connected day by day. That means more data is being utilized, and single hack can therefore impact the bigger million of the people, bigger can cover the more bigger vicinity of the people without security. IoT devices, IoT things, Internet of Things can be turned to Internet of Threats if it's not dealt with earlier. I will be explaining you the Mirai botnet, what had happened back in 2016. Mirai botnet, it was the threat, it was the most IoT security incident that has been happened so far in 2016 back. It was done by two people. It was done by two, we can say, adolescent boys. What they had done, I will let you know about it later. I'll let you know the procedure, how they have done this. First of all, I will let you know what it has done so far. They create a kind of malware. That malware, we can say, is a virus, and they get the name of this virus as Mirai. Mirai botnet. It infected thousands of CCTV cameras and routers because those CCTV cameras were using some weak kind of passwords. For example, we used to keep admin123. We used to keep our names and 123. We used to keep these weak passwords, and because of those passwords, the things were infected, more than thousands. Therefore, turned into the botnet. What botnet is? It's the army of hacked devices, or we can say it's the army of zombies. They attack our system, they attack our the network system, and they have impacted huge kind of organizations. They impacted Twitter, they impacted Netflix, they impacted Reddit and Amazon also. They launched massive DDoS, that is distributing attack kind of thing, sending the emails floodedly, sending flooded emails, and fooled websites too much traffic, and therefore this websites were crashed. Not breaking doors, but logging these cameras. This was the real-time Mirai botnet which created the panic at that very moment. So we can understand a small camera can be used in big attacks. Therefore, weak passwords and no updates of the software can be very dangerous for us. Hence, IoT devices became the global priority. This is how the Mirai botnet worked then. They scanned the internet, they tried default passwords, they tried again and again, and the weak passworded CCTV cameras were infected. They logged into those CCTV cameras, installed the threats there, installed the malware, and joined the botnet and launched those attacks. This is the graph that shows real-time screenshot capture during the attack. You see how disturbing it is. It's covering the whole world, it's covering the whole earth using that small attack which we have, which was started with a small camera. Then there are of course some challenge how we will deal with the IoT devices and their security. Since we know that there are enormously adding up the new devices in the network, those new devices are unparalleledly without using certain strong authentication factors, without using strong passwords, we have to We have to keep our eye on each device, which becomes a challenging thing for us, which becomes challenging for security purpose as well. Then comes interoperability and the standards. Then the standards of these devices, we use different devices. For example, if I take the example of smartwatch, we are using smartwatch of Noise company, we are using the smartwatch of Apple company as well. And there are certain more brands for the smart watch. So knowing about the standards, knowing about how much secure the watch is, which brand gives the more authentication over the devices, is a bit challenging kind of thing for us. Then comes privacy. Privacy, of course, without getting impersonated, without getting some threats, we have to deal with the privacy. We have to keep the privacy of each individual in contact. Then regulatory, legal rights and issues. Of course, India is dealing with the same thing. India is, of course, creating new regulatory, creating new legal policies, maintaining the things against these threats and against these events. And in fact, this is also a challenging part. Emerging economy and development issues. Since the world is totally changing from being a village to the digitalized village, that thing, that development is, we are dealing with those bigger, huge challenges. Now, massive attack surface. Since this is one of the challenge, billion of IoT devices, CCTV cameras, wearables, smart meters, cars, etc. are connected. We have to take care of each and every device for that thing. Weak authentication and authorization. I told you earlier about the passwords. Passwords must be very strong, must be using different characters, approximately 12 characters is the ideal thing that we can use using upper cases, lower cases, and some symbols as well. Data privacy concern, that depends on how we collect the how much sensitive data has been collected from health, from locations, from voice, videos, and unauthorized access would lead to the problems. Insecure network communication. Many devices transmit data without encryption. Encryption is very must. And encryption, how encryption works. If we talk about Alice and Bob, Alice wanted to send one message to the Bob, but meanwhile, Eve, who is the middle, who is the man in the middle, that's the kind of attack that eavesdropping happens over the time. Alice is not able to send the X information to the Bob as X because it has been hijacked, things have been changed by MIT, a man in the middle, say Eve. So these insecure network communications we all have to deal with. Limited device resources. Since if we are using a small watch, we do have low processing power for that. Small memory and battery system. We have certain battery systems over there. In order to operate antivirus kind of thing, we need more power, we need more processing power. But for the small devices, we are still having this low processing power and small memory kind of things. This is the challenge that we are dealing with. Unpatched vulnerabilities. Manufacturers often don't provide timely security updates. That becomes a problem that without providing security updates on time, these firmware patches, hackers exploit outdated systems. Physical security risks are there, supply chain risks are there, scalability of security is the problem that is the challenge still we need to deal with. There are some common IoT attacks. It's not different attack than that of the computer network. If we talk about botnets, I told you are somehow the army of zombies, the army of hackers. How botnets work? It's the hacker takes the control of IoT device, flooded websites with the different number of emails and create a massive panic to the website and services are delayed. Man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack means there is the transmitter and a receiver. The communication is one to one, but the thing happens during the man in the middle attack. What happens? There comes eavesdropping, or we can say the sniffing. One more person comes in between the transmitter and the receiver. This is how the things are getting hijacked and the things are used maliciously. Then comes spoofing identity or replay attacks. Spoofing is using fake ID. If I am using the fake ID of some person and dealing with the company, dealing with the persons whom the person is dealing with, I can deal in a very bad manner. I can deal for my benefit. I can deal accordingly. So that's how spoofing identity and replay attacks take place. Then comes software exploits. If we are having some devices, for example, if we take the device from our neighboring country, say China, and China has already implemented some kind of small chip in it, or small kind of processing software has been installed in the device, that can create threat, that can know about the choices of the people in India, being being the device taken from the China. This can create a huge issue for that. So sensor and side channel attacks. Sensors are like, if sensors are not dealing perfectly with things that we need to collect the data, for example, for the traffic issues, if sensors are not working properly or the sensor has been attacked, the things would turn into a different manner. The consumption would be more electromagnetic emanations, timing, thermal traces to infer secret or the cryptographic keys. Then comes denial of service, resource exhaustion, overwhelm limited capability. Devices with requests are forcing them continuously trying to respond draining. Jamming attacks are there using wireless environments. Denial of service is when many of the attacks are occurring at a simultaneous time. The main reason for the website, which is providing some good services, will be dealt, will be taken on heart. Then comes supply chain attack. Supply chain attack, hardware backdoors, malicious modifications, or during manufacturing can be done. During manufacturing, I told you, if we take the device from China or we take the device from other country, they can put that software or they can put that chip into the device without knowing us how that is taking our identity, how that is personifying us from there, from here to the another country. Then comes data privacy attacks. Unauthorized access of the sensor data, some personal information, some financial credentials will be at the verge of issues. Then comes ransomware attack. It's the same attack with the conventional or traditional network. Ransom is asking for some money. They they will they will be hacking our system and asking for the key. Ransomware attack asks for the key unless we pay some hefty amount to the hacker. Once we are giving the money to the hacker provides us a key, and while entering that key we get our data back, but that's not full-fledgedly okay data. That may be already infected data that our systems are be carrying, and that create the future threats also. Then there are some recommendations, IoT security recommendations, how we have to deal with these things. The first thing first, IoT endpoint protection, how we will protect our devices. It's how we will secure our device ports. Block unencrypted communication. Whichever communication we are doing, if it's unencrypted, then block those unencrypted communication. Prevent the code injection. Once the code, it's a simple kind of term that I would make you understand. It's a simple term that inject means injecting some code into your system that will create the infection to the system and will be compromised. System will be compromised. That system can be anything. So the fully visibility of connected devices, we should remain vigilant for the devices that are connected to us. Then comes IoT gateway security. We should choose secure web gateways. There are two things, that is HTTPS and HTTP, Hypertext Trans Protocol, secure. and HTTP. Out of both of the things, we must use HTTPS, which is more secure kind of thing. There comes two things as well, that is SSL and SSH. This is, I would say, in a very layman's language, if we take SSL, that's a kind of locking and scaling a letter. If we are going to post a letter, the locking of the letter and the sealing of the letter is with SSL. Then comes SSH, the communication between Alice and Bob, between transmitter and the receiver. In order to be secure communication, SSH is responsible for that thing. Communication with our server as well. So, opting for HTTPS rather than HTTP. Stop malware and unauthorized access to your devices. Secure remote cloud connections with VPN and monitoring. Then comes securing cloud APIs. How will that be happen? I will make you understand with a small example. If we have WhatsApp kind of thing that we want to use on our laptop, we go to the Google and we type WhatsApp web. We get that WhatsApp access from our desktop. But for that thing, these APIs are already being generated, which we use, we put, and we hit that API to get the WhatsApp kind of things and get linked through our phones. Those APIs help the secure communication. This is how things will be happening, and we will be using authentication, encryption, tokens, and API gateways. Using those API gateways or the bridge APIs, we can secure our system, we can secure our device and the data that we are providing during this whole communication, during this whole intervention, without intervention of the human being. So this whole data, large scale data, can be prevented from the breach. These REST APIs are useful and very secure. Then comes secure network development. We must deploy some firewalls and MFA, multi-factor authentication. What multi-factor authentication means? When we are logging into this to our Gmails, for example, and we are asked to have that kind of key based, say they are asking you have 61 number, you have to click your 61 number on another system where the parent account has been created. You click for the same, and then you are supposed to ask for the OTP if you have applied the two-factor authentication system. That means twice you have been asked for the process. That is the secure way of network development that we can opt for. Allow only verified devices on the network, protect authentication as well. So that makes us continuously monitoring of our system, where we are using the system, where we have logged in our systems. Then comes up-to-date data encryption. Data encryption. We have two types of encryptions over here. One is symmetric encryption and another is asymmetric encryption. For symmetric encryption, we are required with a single kind of key. The key gets generated and used for decryption. But in asymmetric encryption, we have two kind of keys. One is public key and another is private key, which is more secure. So going for the asymmetric encryption, making our systems more secure, is the best way to deal with these issues that create stronger defense against the eavesdrop or replay attacks. Then comes protected data storage. Secure sensitive information, financial or personal or biometric. Since we have now data on our systems, like our retina display data, like our thumb impressions, we have this kind of data on our internet. We are supposed to protect that data storage also. So updating our antivirus time to time, anti-malware and scanning tools is the need of our at the very moment. Real-time threats, monitoring and alerts. Then comes centralized console for visibility and control. Now the technology is taking a turning point. We were earlier connected to the internet in a very sophisticated manner. Now the things have been turning in more sophistication using AI, artificial intelligence, 5G powered internet of things. That makes things more faster with low latency connectivity, enabling smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and industrial IoTs. That means now IoT is not only uh, up to the home appliances, it will be going towards the industrial IoT as well as the vehicles also, creating the smart cities. So 5G powered IoT is the emerging tool that we have to deal with now. And we must know about all these things regarding IoT security before going for the emerging trends. Then comes AI and IoT, smarter decision making with predictive analytics. Anomaly detection. What anomaly detection means? Say, for example, if we have a graph kind of thing, and we will be having our things that will be coming within the range outcomes, within the range values are not anomalies. The anomaly comes when it is something uneven happening somewhere. That anomaly will be detected using AI, using the patterns, using understanding how the road, for example, in case of a car, knowing how the road is going towards, and if we are able to detect the anomaly, if we are able to detect that issue, we can save our car from major accidents as well. This is how AI and IoT together can work. Then comes edge computing, data processed close to devices for real-time insights. This is the kind of edge computing that we will be coming. We will be having a dashboard kind of thing where we will be having real-time analysis for the reducing cloud dependency. Then comes IoT security enhancements. Security must be enhanced. I told you earlier about the authentication, two-factor authentication, or some other points will be there for encryption and decryption. We are supposed to deal with these things so that we save our devices, we save our credentials, we save our personal IDs using those emerging tools. Then wearable and healthcare, it's going enormously increasing day by day. How we are doing this smart health monitoring as remote patient care is the need of our now. At the time of COVID period, how the things have happened, that has given rise to this remote patient care as well. Wellness tracking, tracking the patients, tracking their vitals, being checked using these IoT devices. While doctor is not available, doctor may be at somewhere at farther distance, and doctor can prescribe and recommend how the things should be done with the patient. Then comes sustainable IoT. That must be energy efficient devices must be there for such grids that we have discussed earlier for energy efficiency, agriculture, or we can say the climate monitoring. Monitoring the climate and knowing when the yield will be best, when the yield will be needing this irrigation kind of things or the seed or the any other process that agriculture is needing. There are some future directions as well. Hyperconnected smart cities and these autonomous IoT systems and the quantum. Quantum is the emerging field. Quantum is the emerging technology that we have to that we are going to involve in the IoT devices as well because research is ongoing in this kind of field nowadays. Interoperability standards are there. Universal IoT protocols must be there for the device, how the device will be used, how the device and where the device will be applied. Then comes human-centric IoTs. The focus should be at the end of the day, the focus should be on the user. How the user want to deal those devices, how the user want to deal these devices for his or her sophistication, for his or her smarter life. This is how human-centric IoT must be taken into consideration for the future directions. There are some safety measures which a common IoT user must keep in consideration. Using default passwords can leave the patient with the problems. So therefore it's must to have very strong passwords to be used for their IoT devices. For example, if we use the Wi-Fi for our camera to be deployed for the surveillance at our home, we need strong passwords for that. Keep devices updated. Our devices must be very updated. That software must be updated every time the new update comes. We have to turn on the automatic updates and to check it regularly whether the system is updated or not. Outdated smart TVs can create issues because the compatibility issue will be there with the new software that has been come into the market for the updates. We must use secure Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi must be avoided. and using encryption. WPA2 is the encryption. WPA3, this is a kind of encryption thing which we can use for the strong Wi-Fi passwords, avoiding public Wi-Fi. Then comes separate IoT network. Many routers. What we are supposed to do if we have a Wi-Fi system at our home, must make it sure that we use that Wi-Fi system differently for the IoT devices and differently for our computer systems, for our official works, like that. For example, we must create that guest network kind of thing for our IoT devices, and rest of the routing thing would be for our personal or the professional works. We must turn off when not in use. IoT devices, when they are not in use, we must turn it off so that we save the data, we save the power, we save the energy as well. Switching it off. For example, baby monitor left on 24 into 7 hours could be hijacked by the attackers to listen what's going inside the house. Then comes be careful with the permissions. We are day by day what's in our daily basis. We get some we install some software at our systems, be it IoT device or the main system. We get some authentications. Do you are you agree with this? Without reading those notifications, we click on yes, accept. That should be taken care. We should not go for that thing. We should take care of those notifications. We should be taking care what permissions we are going to give to the end users, how they are going to use our data, how they are going to use our identity data. As two-factor authentication is must, we should keep it on for our daily devices, for our phones, for our IoT devices, for our systems as well. We also must install secure softwares as well, using those antivirus or firewall kind of thing at our home Wi-Fi or the smart controlling IoT. Smartphone controlling IoT for preventing malicious applications. We must stay aware, we must stay vigilant for all these attacks. There are certain key takeaway points IoT safety for everyone that I have penned down in these 9 points. Change default passwords. In a nutshell, keep device updated. Use secure Wi-Fi system. Separate IoT networks. Use a guest network for IoT devices. Turn off when the network is not in use. Be careful with the permissions that you are accepting. Use two-factor authentication, which can give you the device the OTP, and you are letting another person or you yourself allowing yourself for using those devices. Check privacy policy as well. Prefer brands with a transparent policy and stay aware and stay vigilant for all these things. I welcome for the question answering session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Yes, we have learned a lot today about IoT and device security. It's the last day of the training session as well, so I'm sure that whatever our viewers is watching, they are following it, and they will not only follow it and understand it for the purpose of assessment, they will also implement it in their lives. Now, coming to questions, we have received a few questions, and I'll start with some of them that are very important. This one viewer of ours was asked, how can these technologies help improve IoT device security, and what are some potential challenges? He's talking about emerging trends and technologies in this area.
Okay, yes, please. So these, how we can deal with these things. So first thing first, we can deal these things. We are also in the research part of thing. We are researching on the privacy kind of things. We have certain points using that I told you earlier, that multi-factor authentication points. We can not give access to each and everything. We can keep certain setting points, some enabling certain setting points, some setting points to be keeping unenabled, so that we take care of our own credentials. and using these, having these emerging new technology kind of things. For example, if we take the example of quantum technology, of course, quantum is enormously and exponentially very fast in nature. Using groovers, there are some algorithm. For example, if I talk about groovers and Schur algorithm, if they are using quantum technology for that, they will of course crack that encryption key and make eavesdropping or hijack the conversation. But
Right.
altogether, what we are doing, we are using post quantum cryptography for that. For post quantum cryptography, we are dealing and we are saving our internet, we are saving our devices meanwhile.
Okay. There is another user and he is trying to ask regarding IoT network security. The person is asking, what are some common IoT network security threats? We've already talked about denial of services attack and data tampering. So what we should be vigilant about? Are both these very crucial, or there is something else also?
Yes, the both attacks are very crucial, and there are, of course, certain more attacks which we are dealing with in our day-to-day life, and we are supposed to take care of these malicious issues. For example, there is a phishing attack also. Phishing, I guess, in previous sessions has been covered. That's why I haven't
Yes.
involved that phishing kind of attack over here. Phishing attack, they are attacking the individual, or they can attack using wishing as well. So keeping that, remaining vigilant for those attacks, we have some kind of tactics, and we have some kind of depicting those things. For example, if we get the email from some hacker, we have a different kind of email over there that has been already discussed in, I guess, third lecture, how we can
Yeah.
detect those things
Okay.
earlier. And
Ma'am,
there
there.
are, of course, certain other attacks as well.
Okay. Ma'am, there is another question and it's regarding the IoT device design. So the person is asking, how can IoT device manufacturers prioritize security in the design and development process?
That's a very good question. I have already told you about the four components. The second component was the processing component, which is dealing with the network, overall network. And that network system requires the communication between 2 points: the point from where the data is transferring, and the point where the data is to be sent.
Okay.
And there, at the both points, at the both in both nodes, there is a kind of encryption. If we are sending the data, there comes encryption method, encryption algorithm, or the encryption software, and at the other end is decryption software. These are the two things where we can take care of
Right.
the
So,
secure technology, secure communication.
all right, Sumera ma'am, thank you so much for patiently answering these questions. We do not have enough time left, though we have a lot of questions, and I can see that you have already covered those questions in your presentation. But it was the last day and you covered all the important points. I think this is the best possible culmination of this entire journey that we have taken up this week. So thank you so
Thank
much
you so
once
very
again.
much. Thank you so much.
Right. So viewers, now it's actually time for us to wind up this session of ours. On day 5, we talked about IoT device security under the umbrella theme of device and network security. And as I've been telling you that after the session gets over, there is going to be an assessment. If you wish to attempt it, make sure you have watched all the sessions very carefully. If you haven't, you can go back to our YouTube handle NCERT official, watch them again, attempt the assessment, and if you score more than 70%, you'll be granted a certificate. Well, with this, it's a wrap for this training program, and let me very briefly tell you about the textbooks. They're available on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. Please go and grab your copies from there for grade 4 and 7. And now you can take a look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead. So in a short while from now, you can watch a session Sahयोग, and the topic will be building resilience and mental well-being in the digital age, followed by our session on school leadership development by NCERT. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.